Hello, my name is Wen, and this is a video for my resume. Since one of my friends asked me to hand him my personal resume recently, so I just made this video to introduce myself. And as you can see, all those texture was written when I was graduate from my bachelor degree, and I think the majority direction hasn't been changed much. So I probably will just use this texture to as a representing of my backgrounds. And as you can see, the career details are right down below. And what I was trying to introduce is what I was working on these years after 2015. And this is actually the project I'm working on, because since my second thesis when I was studying the bachelor degree has a quite good result for squares, so I put a lot of effort on the pricing analysis these years. And as you can see, actually I have made some profit from this kind of market for 2 years, but we have changed this kind of business type to software solution to avoid some legal issues, since our client mostly are not really paying the tax to the government legally. So we're just moving our contract and services backward. Then we can try to avoid some legal thing that probably will have some trouble to us. And this is our major working flow. Like, we fetch the data from the markets and we use the mathematical model to analyze the pricing of the data, and after that we'll take the margin benefit from it. And what the most things has been different is I changed the the regional methodology from the regression to artificial neural networks. Like right now we are using the artificial neural network to doing the prediction to be more precisely. And this is our business working flow, and as you can see, we are making the profit on the end, since we are having the margin profit from the pricing and at this time point, but we are also making a profit by our services further. And this is the lean models of our business canvas, and this is actually the data working flow and the business flow too. And as you can see, here is the data analysis part, and here is a website part, but this is quite just representing as the front end and the web logic, but data analysis and some post backend things will probably right here. And here is the realistic entity part that will have include with the business model and also include with some human forces. And this is kind of just an advertisement and telling what's our main idea come from. It's actually there is already an American unicorn called OpenDoor. It's selling buying and selling house and making the profit from it by their algorithm. But we are not using their business model at this time position in Taiwan. If you are just focusing on Taiwan's market, you will find that Taiwan's housing market is depressing, since the purchasing and the buying, the purchasing and selling are really decreasing. But the renting market are kind of increasing. The market balance are moving from the purchasing to renting the house. So that's why we are doing the renting thing at this time point. Also to avoid some flowing risk and some capital things. And here is the algorithm of the artificial neural network, but this is not really using data from the housing markets. It's just testing whether the algorithm is working fine. And as you can see, this is kind of good prediction way for using the artificial neural network to do things. Although I just using it on my personal computer, like even you are using a laptop machine, sometimes the artificial neural network are working pretty frequently though. Precisely. And this is another artificial model I have tested, but like it's already been like 11 months ago, I think. So it's almost a year ago since I have done this, and it's not just the testing thing, because I already like eliminate all those data, and I also close the Amazon AMI, just save just for saving other data. And this is the oh, I also moved those things to the Amazon AMI like almost years ago, and I'm training all those artificial neural network model on the Amazon machine, and I had to mention to you that if you are using this kind of web services, you have to really take care of how much the computing power you have been using, although you will receive like more than 10,000 bill for your Amazon AMI machines. And this is I think this is already applying for right, and this is actually using the real data. As you can see, this is using the housing data to doing the artificial neural network analysis. Like you use land square meters, building square meters, room, helm, bathroom, total price, and price per square meter to doing the predictions. And this is also training on the Amazon machine though. But I think just testing the code, see whether there has some problem, and try to modify the data structures. And I think this is just the batch data. We have to fetch it from the government administration, because they will all the government administration will announce all those data every 2 weeks, and we can just use all those trading data for training our artificial neural network models. And this is the final one, I think, to predict the things, and that will give me the enough output. And this is the front end things. I'm using the prototype tool to create it. Okay, I just use some basic template and this is the house, and you can do the modify here, and this is whether to introduce these houses. And as you can check all the services of these houses, and what's the details of the house informations. And you can also click to the tenants. If you click to the people who living in this house, you can see the tenants information. All those like services things, like you can, if we are pulling this profitable making things from the web services but not by the contract, we can still also making a profit, but avoiding the legal issue if our client are not really paying the tax to the government. And that's all just the front end things. And I think this is just the same front end. I have made it to ask the front end engineer to making the same things for me. And this is a chatbot, and those dialogue, and those are the mail and the package that the tenant probably will receive, and all those stuff. And this is the API I have made. I use the Django framework, this one, Django REST framework, to making the API. And what this is actually doing is it will showing all those outsourcing data that I have collected from right now I already been logging. Like I actually collect lots of outsourcing data from all around the world too. Because if I'm doing this, I probably can serve some engineer, and I will trying to find some corporate engineer to help me doing the front end and back end things. And this API can actually just show all the data I have been collected. I actually I established 3 servers, and one server is doing this Django API. It running the Django API on that server, and the other one is MySQL server. And third one is the server that running the program that collecting the data. The program is using the Scrapy framework to scrap all the data from other websites. And we will insert all those data to the MySQL database. But actually, you can use this Django API to insert data if you have the authentication to log in. And you can just use this IP to access for this Django. You can have in your query here like test. Once you post those data, you will find your query be shown. Oh, it's just let's see. Okay, it has been shown, and once you have refreshed it, you'll see your request is at here. Oh, then it's all the thing. You can just play with it, and once you have been logging, you have more authority to change your other data. But mainly, I will just change data from the SQL server, but not in this Django server. But the Django server also has the authentication to modify the MySQL server's data. And here's actually I had asked the Indian to make a front end for this API for me already, but actually they're not really honest because they raise their budget a lot, so I probably won't cooperate with them again, and I will try other one to doing the front end for me. And right now I'm just trying to introduce other things, like I have write some like graphing these things, but it's quite easy, so I'm not really testing it right here. But right now what I'm showing you is this is the trackball I have writing, but the code I doing myself. So okay, so you probably can see. Just give it a second.
火龙火龙，你好，太阳公公说你好你好你好，我摸开始起评咯，我是预设总机小火龙，请问
This is a trackball I have written for another
火
project.
龙很烦的说。
我们测试看看，你听不听得懂我说的话？我们测试看看。
火龙，你说的话是，你听不听得懂我说的话对吼？火龙很烦的说。
And right now, you will just take this to the API.
火龙，语言不重要，逻辑将会统治一切。语言不重要，逻辑将会统治一切。我是说语言不重要，
And every
逻
kind
辑
of
将会统治
different
一
word I
切。
have trying to tell you, you will just try to analyze it and using artificial neural network and give me the feedback. This is what the program I have wrote for using the artificial neural network. And you will just keep repeating if it has not.
火龙，您刚刚说安德罗德
Because
在
I'm
克
not
斯
really
特吗？
pronouncing it
让我
really
想一下
good,
怎么
so
回
it
答。
probably
火
will show
龙
some different
很烦的
analysis.
说。 火龙火龙，巴特iOS 哈哈，巴特iOS 哈哈。
This is what I have
我是
wrote.